Ow, things are black. Ow.
Do you have an idea for a community project in your neighborhood? You could be eligible for up to $50,000 in funding through the City of Seattle's Neighborhood Matching Fund. Grants are awarded to grassroots projects that build stronger communities, with an emphasis on projects led by impacting Black, Indigenous, and people of color BIPOC communities. To learn more about the Neighborhood Matching Fund or to see if your project meets the criteria, visit seattle.gov/neighborhoods/NMF.
Rainier Avenue Radio presents All Music, All Day Saturday. Music, All Day Saturday.
This is Edwin Bailey, Bulldog Blue.
Jazz from the Cabinets.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy.
Start Time.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pierce.
This is Start Time. Saturdays, all music, all day. Reggae Hour, K-Fox Nightmare.
You looking for the perfect beat? Yeah, it's the beat of the box.
Fresh Juice, D-Money in the group.
Myself, D-Money.
Nice Size Patrol.
Taylor Hart.
This is Spencia, the Northwest Rap Gang.
DJ Medina. Chad Cheddar. Northwest Rat Gang.
Sergio Lacour's Love Line.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Going to the phone lines. Hello, who we talking?
Sea Monster Radio, Mo Jams. It's your jam.
We're live. Welcome to Moji on Mondays. This is KZ of KZ Music Media. Caller Goddess for Moji on Mondays.
Just my opinion. God is inspiration all day and all night. Saturdays on Rainier Avenue Radio.org.
You probably have questions about COVID vaccines. Here are some answers about how they're being made.
How are COVID vaccines being produced faster?
Usually, vaccine testing and production are separate steps. But because of the pandemic, vaccines are being developed on parallel tracks. So both steps are happening just at the same time.
How are the vaccines being tested?
Right now, several different COVID vaccines are in testing. Each go through multiple clinical trials with up to thousands of volunteers.
How do vaccines get approved?
Not all COVID vaccine versions will make it to the final stages of testing and approval. Produced vaccines that do not pass clinical trials will be destroyed. But for those that do pass, a team of medical experts will examine test results and possible side effects. If the vaccine is effective and safe, it gets approved and gets to you. Go to covidvaccinewa.org to learn more. A message from the state of Washington.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenue radio.world.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio.world designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are two local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all our clients. And Tina Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with guaranteed rate affinity with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Hello.
Well, hey, Tina, you got your hair back.
I do. It's one of my lazy days. Well, actually, I had a hat on today, but it didn't look really good in the what's it called? It didn't really look good with television. So we're gonna do this.
Oh, I like the hat.
You want the hat? Okay. V wants the hat. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Oh, there you go. See?
We're gonna do
it. Beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
How's everything?
Everything's going great. How are you? How are you in Seattle?
Oh, it is now a little overcast. It was sunny earlier, but no snow, no rain. It's kind of dry, still kind of cold. We're good.
That's okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Welcome everybody to Real Estate and Money. I'm Violeta Strash with John L. Scott.
Yes, and I'm Tina Lombard with Bank of England.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got a fun conversation today with a good friend, Patrick Santiago with Roof Tech. Mm-hmm. And we'll bring them on when we talk about all the different things happening to your home this spring. We're getting into the spring market. It's going to get pretty crazy out there, and it's time to prepare your home to sell. Right?
Absolutely. And, after we talk about the mortgage update and the real estate update, I'm going to get into a little bit about home equity loans and how you can get some cash out in the springtime so you can do those most wanted honey-do lists. You got the decks, you've got your house, you've got the basement, landscaping. So we're going to talk to you about how you can get some cash out of your existing house without popping that first rate.
Perfect. Okay. So, shall I start off with my market update?
Yes, please.
Here we go. King County. In the past week, we've had 329 homes go into the listing category. 387 homes sold at an average price of $1,049,000, which is a little less than 10% difference from last year. It was $1,152,000 is what the average price was for the sold inventory. Days on the market for February. I'm able to report February now. So days on the market from last year, about the same time, February, 12 days on the market versus 18 days now. It's a little bit more last year, so it's a little quicker to get the house in and out of that market inventory. Percent to list price was 7.1% higher last year of the list price, and this year it's 3.4% higher than the list price. Showings per listing, 20 last year, 9 this year. That's a difference of 11 showings from year to year. It's a little bit quicker this time around. For instance, showings to pending last February, we had 28 homes seen. I'm so sorry. It's 28 showings per listing for each home out there, average, and then 19 this year. So we're down 9 days. So it takes less showings from year to year to get your home sold. And in Pierce County, active listings, 157 went on the market last week and 240 sold. There again, you're seeing the spread there. There's not a lot of inventory we're looking at, and homes are flying off the shelf still. And an average price of $599,000, $600,000 to round it off, versus $614,000 a year last year, less than 4% difference from year to year. February days on the market last February it was 13, this year 22. So up here in Pierce County, 9 days. And then percent of the list price, 3.9% higher than the list price last year, only 1.7% from list to selling this year. Showings per listing, 12 last February, 7 this year, February, and showings to pending, 12 again last year, and 7. So pretty even showings per listing, and showings to go to the pending category. In Snohomish County, we had 107 homes go on the market last week. 179 sold at an average price of $773. This last year it was $839,000 in Snohomish County, 9.3% difference. Days on the market, 11 days last February versus 21 days, up 10 days this year. I'm sorry. Percent of the list price, 6.5% higher than list price last year, only 2.5% this year. Showings per listing, 17 last February, 8 this February, and then showings to pending, 23 versus 16. So that's 7 showings less this year. So people are out there, they're motivated buyers, they know what they want. They'll look a few times and then sold. Mm-hmm. So that's what's happening right now. And we're seeing multiple offers coming back into play. Here anyway, where I'm working, and I'm sure the market's going to heat up pretty soon as we enter the hot spring market, which is the typical curve, upward curve on our cyclical industry. So there you have it for our 3 markets and the housing activity.
Great. So thank you. So let's go ahead quickly into the mortgage update.
Yes.
And basically the mortgage update is rates are going up. And so Daniel, thank you so much for showing that right there. You'll see that the average rate across the US is 7.03 and the APR is 7.2 something. The rates are going up. It's not slowing down. The rates are, they're having to go up across the US. Now the 5-year ARM and the 10-year ARM also have gone up. The 15-year rate actually has gone down. But 15-year actually is twice the amount of the payment on a 30-year fix. So mind you, before you start asking about those rates, really quick, people are wondering why are mortgage rates going up? Well, there's a lot of different things going on. Most of all, it's to correct inflation. So inflation actually is behind everything moving up and moving down. The government wants to make sure that the houses don't go so high that they're unattainable for people with a certain salary. So what's going on now is you're seeing rates were at 3% at the beginning of 2022, and now they're at 7%. And of course, this is the highest rates that we've seen in many, many, many years. I think maybe over a decade. So what we're finding out, though, V, is a lot of people finally realize the rates are going up. They're going to have to deal with it. They're going to have to just bite the bullet. So a lot of people are buying their homes now, and in 6 or 7 months, the overall economy is predicting that the rates are going to be going down towards the end of the year. So get your house now. If the rates should go down, you can always refinance, but you'll have a house that you buy now that will gain equity between now and the times that the rates do go down. So V, I have a couple of friends in Seattle. I have one named Julie, and she was saying that she had a house listed at 1.3 million, and they had over 200 groups of people that walked through that house this past weekend.
What? Oh
yes.
My God.
Insane.
Wow.
It's absolutely insane. So there's multiple offers going on. I have a lot of pushback from other people that are talking about, we put an offer in on a house, but we lost it. I haven't heard that in like 6 months. It's usually you put an offer in and boom, you get it. So things are starting to heat up. So if you're like dilly-dallying, you're wondering if I should make an offer now or I'm going to wait until July, don't do that. Don't do that. Find out what you qualify for and see if you can qualify now.
Yeah. And as you know, you're my lender for a lot of my clients. And we lost a deal just yesterday.
Yeah, a deal that was sitting on the market for 51 days?
Yeah. And we came across it. Went and saw it twice over the weekend, put in an offer, and someone came in and bid up on that house and gone.
Where the heck did that buyer come from? Where were they 51 days prior? What is going on?
Who knows?
Get out there. You need to go out there, start duking it out. Start duking it out, And don't worry about the rates. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting thing is I went back in and looked. There was more inventory yesterday than there has been for this particular criteria I'm looking for. So don't wait because the rates fluctuate.
Sellers are like, sellers are realizing they're getting offers. They're like, you know what, maybe we ought to, step into the market now and put our house on the market. So I'm telling you, it's a very exciting time, so get on out there. Now, let me see. I gave you, I sent you another link here, Daniel. I wanted to talk to you, kind of bring up home equity loans. We want to talk about home equity loans really quick. Home equity loans are usually, they're loans that you have in second position. So if your house is in first position, you can get a loan after that. So let's say if you buy a house, there you go. You buy a house at $800,000 and you put 50% down. You put $400,000 down. So now you have a $400 balance. And that rate you locked last year in January 2022 for 3%, okay? But now here comes the spring. You want to put on a new deck, you want to have a new basement, you want to put on a new roof, do some landscaping, add a garage, something. And you need to pull, you need maybe $200,000. Where you can actually go back into your house, leave the $400,000 at 3% interest rate alone, and go and get more money out of your house because now you have equity between the $800,000 and the $400,000, you have equity. And so depending on what lender, what bank, what your credit score is and your debt service, all that sort of thing, you may be able to get equity or get a loan with the provided equity you have in your house. Now, it comes in three forms. There's cash out where you can refinance your first mortgage and take another $200,000 cash out and have a new loan at $600,000. There's a HELOC where you can actually take a line of credit out of your house. Let's say $200,000. It's a line of credit. You borrow and you pay back as desired. Then you have a home equity loan where you just say, hey, I'm going to need the whole $200,000. Let's snatch it. Let's do one fixed rate, a home equity loan. And these are the three options to getting cash out of your house and getting your equity out. So this is something, if you do decide with some of the things that we talked about, me and Vi are going to talk about some of the things you want to do with your house in the springtime. If you don't have that extra money, you want to put in new flooring, you want to put in a new sink, you want to do more with the bathroom or the kitchen. These are your options if you have an existing home on your property and you have equity. You can get equity. You can get a loan against the equity of your house. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
Thank you for that. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So,
okay, so
yeah,
go ahead. Yeah.
So in the spring, we've got different things. We've got different things we look at. I mean, you got landscaping. This is the perfect time to start your landscaping, doing your deck. It's a perfect time to do, much needed repairs. Like I'm going to be redoing my basement. I have a whole full empty basement unfinished. I'm going to get that done. But, let's say that I don't want to use my cash. I don't want to use $40,000, $50,000. I'll go to the bank and take out a small home equity line. And home equity is usually higher than a first mortgage because it's in second position. So if you ever get beamed by aliens or get stranded on an island somewhere and nobody can get a hold of you, the lenders will come after your first mortgage first. And out of the equity, they'll pay off your second mortgage. So second mortgage is always a little bit higher. So, but I tell you what, instead of a $500,000 loan, maybe it's only a $50,000 loan. So the payments aren't that bad. So that's what we'll talk about before we get into our break.
Or after we get back from our break. So let's hit it, Daniel, and we'll get Patrick on the air.
Into Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts, Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Okay.
Great.
Daniel, is Patrick on? Where did he go?
Yeah, Patrick's on, yeah.
Patrick, are you on video?
I am here.
Oh, there you are.
Hi, Patrick.
Sorry.
Hey, how are you?
It's so funny. I'm doing great. It's so funny. I was watching the whole show and then my phone it's sunny outside in Washington State.
I love it.
It was
not here forecast in East Tacoma.
Yeah, it heated up my phone and then all of a sudden it says your phone's too hot. So I had to switch to my work. I'm on my work phone right now.
Okay.
Well, really quick, I wanted to introduce the two of you because the three of us have at one time worked at Salem Communications, Salem Radio.
Yes.
Yeah. And
the gang's all here, huh?
Yeah, I know. You didn't work together, but they're doing both of your stints there.
Yeah.
So it was a fun time.
It was. I always tell everybody V is my Violeta's my number one manager ever in my whole
Okay, thank you for telling everyone in the world that. Thank you. But anyway.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to you really quick. We want to introduce Patrick and Violeta is going to talk to him really quick. But here are one of the things that people do in the springtime is to get their roofing taken care of. So he's going to talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. See, as buyers, what do? You're online looking at homes, and then you check off the ones that you want to actually drive by and take a look at physically before you go in. You're going to check out the neighborhood, and then you stop in front of this house that you're looking at. And what do you see first? Probably the roof, the landscaping, the front entrance. But, is that roof new or old? Does it need to be replaced? I don't know. So that's one of the things we want to talk about for sellers. Check the roof. If you have any leaks or anything, call Patrick at Roof Tech. And if you need a replacement for roofing or gutters, call Patrick at Roof Tech. And I want to turn it over to Patrick now and talk about what are people calling you guys about. It's, who are they and where's the majority of the work coming from in this area? What materials are you using for the Pacific Northwest? But tell us who you are, what you do.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm a roof estimator for Roof Tech, Patrick Santiago. And I can tell you, I do work for a lot of real estate agents up in the area. They make phone calls. Either they have a buyer that they're representing and they want to know, is this a good roof? Inspectors will typically say they have 3 to 5 years, most times 5 years, just because it meets the standard for lending. But they're not specialists, so they call us out and we take a look. So on the buyer side, I'll let them know that, hey, you probably have to budget in the next couple of years if it's a bad roof, or put it in the offer when the time comes to put your offer in. But I like to head it off. So when a real estate agent refers me to a seller, I will tell that seller they will get that money back when they go and sell. The appeal, the street appeal. And most people don't want to buy something to fix up. And if they are, they're going to try and get your price down. So you try to take away any of the excuses that they have for buying your house. As far as material, in the Northwest, we live in a wet climate. So everybody knows we rain a lot. So a lot of people, the asphalt shingle is probably 85-90% of the roofs in the Northwest. Yeah, metal's great. But metal still needs to be cleaned. Metal's more pricier, but we do metal. We do tile.
Cedar? How about cedar shake?
Yeah, so certain counties you need to look up. So Bainbridge Island, believe it or not, has banned cedar shake. So if you're planning to buy on Bainbridge Island and you like cedar shake, make sure the cedar shake roof is good, because you cannot put back cedar shake. You'd have to buy a synthetic version of the cedar shake, which is out there, but it's very, very pricey. That's what I would call an investment grade shingle, or an investment grade roofing material.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the type of people that are contacting me, I would say believe it or not, a lot of people have bought 2 years ago. They were told they had 4 or 5 years. They're all replacing their roofs.
Wow.
They have equity right now, as of now, with the marketplace. They have equity, so they can pull out a home equity line of credit, like Tina was talking about, and get it done, so they don't have to worry about it if they plan to live there for the next 8 to 12 to 15 years. They don't want to. And when Dee was inviting me on the show, I told her one of the key factors with all my customers, every single one of them, there's always a reason not to move forward, but the number one reason you should always move forward, if you have an old roof that's 20 years old, or even 15-year-old roofs we're replacing, is roofs will never go down in price. They'll always go up. So if you can find a way to either get the cash to do it, or even put it on a finance program, you're investing in your home. So I always tell my customers, it's the number one investment next to your 401k is the equity you'll build in your home. So it's not like you're throwing your money away.
Right. Well, just really quick, I had my house in Federal Way for, maybe 20 years or something like that. And I didn't really have any roofing problems. And I think it was because I didn't pressure wash or something. I actually went up there and brushed it, cleaned it. Now, can you give us any truth to that? Because there are ways you can keep your roof healthy so you don't damage it. But can you give us any truth there?
Yeah. So we actually have a roof cleaning division for Roof Tech, and my owner is an ex-Army Ranger and he flies drones. So he actually built a prototype drone, and he's actually now getting it patented. But you can clean your roof. Pressure washing, no, never. Especially if you have an asphalt roof. If you have metal, you can pressure wash metal, but asphalt, you basically diminish the roof by 5 years because you're blowing off a lot of the granules. Pressure wash. So what we do is we wire brush, just like you said. You take a broom, and we have wire brushes. We go up there and we actually brush, manual labor, brush the roofs off, and then we apply a moss inhibitor, which people don't understand how it works. It basically changes the pH balance of the roof, which kills the moss. And then if you apply that every year, every other year, depending on how many trees you have, you can extend the life of the roof. And so these drones that he has built will literally fly over the roof with a little bucket, and it actually spreads. So the other thing that kills.
Wow.
Yes. So you can roof-tech.net, and you will see the drone. I don't know if your guy can pull it up and take a snapshot and show it, but it's really cool. It allows no human to step on your roof after you do that wire brush. So walking on also destroys your roof because it's
Huh.
asphalt. So you end up putting pressure in spots. And if it's a hot day, you're actually making impressions in the roof. So his goal was not to have too much walk on.
Well, really quick, how about solar? When you put solar panels on your house, how does that affect your roof?
So that's a lot of people are putting solar. So most of the solar companies now are really good at flashing and allowing to put their anchors in the roof. The one thing I will tell all your listeners, if they're ever planning to buy a house and there is no solar and the roof is 10 to 12 years old, you should replace the roof because it costs a lot. If you put solar on a bad roof and then your roof goes bad in 5 to 10 years, it costs about $5,000 to $6,000 to call them back out just to remove the panels, let us put the new roof on and reinstall the panel.
Wow.
So it saves a lot of money in the long run to get that change. But the solar panels, they really don't affect anymore. It used to be because there were a lot of guys out there, cowboys out there trying to put on solar panels, and then it would cause leaks in the roof. But now they've got all the brackets that are perfect and the flashing and all the ceilings. So majority of them know how to.
That's great. Okay, that's good information. Yeah. So how long would it take if we were to call you up and somebody wanted to replace their roof? How long would it take for you to set an appointment, and how long does it take to replace a full roof on a house?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we do is if you called up, we book the appointment. Most of the people calling, I can get to them within a week to do the appointment, actually do the estimate. I do the estimate right here in my truck. I have a printer and my iPad. I can measure the roof in one day, and within 30 minutes, give them a quote so they know. And there's different levels of roofing. I know V wanted to cover some material. So you can get a 30, a 40, or a 50-year roof. I can do all those quotes right there.
Great.
I can get a number. They can talk with their wife or their husband and their spouse and decide if they want to go forward, if they want to wait. And then once we get the deposit, we can get to them. Right now, we're probably 4 to 8 weeks out. But as we get into the long term, some of the bigger companies are 6 months out to change their roof.
Wow.
And the typical roof will probably take 3 days to install. Depending on how many guys on the crew. We have 4 guys on a crew. We can probably install the average home in 2 days, but bigger ones will be 5 days to install.
So that's good to know. So people who are like, I don't know if I should, before that thing pops a leak and you have to patch it up for 6 or 8 weeks, you maybe want to call somebody right now.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of companies, really, there's various different levels of companies in the roofing business. The big companies, obviously they're bigger because they're more established and they have a lot of overhead and everything, but they're out. They're out 5-6 months. I don't know how, but they're out and people will wait for them. And we get in the busiest season, we're about 3 months max out. Our company crews that we can run probably 3 to 4 roofs every 2 weeks that we can install.
Okay. So what is the average, like on a house, just really quick, what is it, $15,000 to maybe $50,000 on a house, depending?
Yeah. Average house is about 2,300 square feet of roofing material, which is probably a house about 1,500 real square feet on a rambler, if you would call that, because a lot of people square footage and they think that's their square footage of the roof, but because of pitching and waste factor, it's actually more than the square footage of the house. So something that's 25 squares can run, if you bought a 30-year roof, maybe $15,000 to $16,000, all the way to $30,000 if you go to the top of the line shingle.
Okay,
that's very good. It's the best investment, just like he said. The best investment you can make is on your roof. So,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then just call Tina and talk to her about either getting a HELOC, refinancing, something to get that roof done.
I always say customers, HELOCs are really the best because you do your roof, 4 years, you pay it off because you were planning to buy a roof anyway. And then it says, hey, we should do the kitchen. You do the kitchen, tap into that HELOC again. So I think it's a great idea.
Yes, it is. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yes. So that's Patrick Santiago with Roof Tech. And we're out of time. We'll see you next week on Real Estate and Money. I'm Violeta Strash with John L. Scott.
Yes. And I'm Tina Lombard with the Bank of England. And Patrick?
I'll go with Roof Tech.
Say your number, Patrick. What's your phone number?
Oh, you can call me at 425-499-9259.
Great.
Okay. See you next Tuesday,
Thank
2:30.
you. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Daniel.
You've been listening to Real Estate and Money with your hosts, Violeta, Strash, and Tina Lombard. For more information, call 206-717-4490. That's 206-717-4490. Go to the Rainier Avenue Radio.world website to find the Real Estate and Money schedule, or tune in to our live show every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3. We will help